Hey everyone, Gerard here with another video on taxation. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to compute income tax due for playing Axie Infinity. So disclaimer, this video serves as a guide for tax compliance and not as investment advice. Any investment venture is done with due diligence, and don't just make investment decisions based on watching this type of video. And as the saying goes, it's your money, so it's your responsibility. Also, in the illustrative problems, I ignored Philippine Accounting Standards number 21, which is on the effect of foreign exchange rates. So in the US, as of recording this video, cryptocurrency advocates and some policymakers have urged for an amendment to the cryptocurrency tax reporting provisions in the 1 trillion infrastructure bill. Such an amendment requires brokers to report cryptocurrency gains. Now in the Philippines, the government is also making its moves into cryptocurrency, which was highlighted by Axie Infinity's NFTs and tokens. It was notable that the BIR advised players to register with the Bureau because of the nature of the game, which is play to earn. In a separate video, I'll make a guide on how to register with the BIR. So questions like how to keep books of accounts or issuance of receipts or invoices shall be answered there. So make sure you subscribe to that. I understand that some individuals started playing Axie as a hobby, so they might be currently employed, whereas some individuals might have already devoted full time in playing. So the computation of income tax liability will depend on the type of taxpayers. For gamers who are under an employer-employee relationship will be considered as mixed income earners, whereas full-time players will be considered as self-employed individuals. Upon recording this video, a revenue regulation is yet to be released for Axie players. Now in the Philippines, businesses could be considered as either seller of goods, seller of service, or lessor of goods or properties. Now we could say players are seller of goods earning in Axie Infinities in two primary ways. The first one is earning tokens and exchanging it to the cryptocurrency exchange. Second, selling non-fungible tokens. So any income derived from such transactions will form part of the taxable income of the player, wherein the following income tax rates shall be applicable. For a self-employed individual, if the gross sales does not exceed 3 million, income tax could be computed using the graduated income tax table, or would be 8% of gross sales in excess of 250,000 in lieu of percentage tax. For a mixed income earner whose income comes from employment and playing Axie, the following will be the options on how to be taxed. First is the income from employment and from playing Axie shall be combined and run through the graduated income tax table. Second would be the compensation income shall be computed using the graduated income tax table, while the income tax from playing Axie shall be taxed using 8% of gross sales. Notice that for a mixed income earner, we did not deduct 250,000 from gross sales, as such amount was already used in computing tax due from compensation income. Now the way to compute taxable income is from the gross sales of tokens and NFTs, we will be deducting the allowed deductions. Now with regards to deductions, the player has two options. The first one is itemized deductions, the second one is optional standard deduction. Generally, when using itemized deductions, allowable expenses are ordinary and necessary costs in order to operate the economic activity. Some examples could be utilities expense such as electricity, internet and communication expense, home office expense, interest expense if you borrowed money with interest to buy your initial Axies, bank charges or gas fee, depreciation expense or cost of the device used to play and trade digital assets, and others. To demonstrate the computation of income tax, let's have some illustrative cases. In 2021, a Filipino Axie player bought 3 Axies for $960 or 47,000 pesos. During the year, the total sales for Smooth Love Potion or SLP in the crypto exchange amounted to 190,000. While sales of Axie amounted to $250 or 12,000 pesos. The following expenses totaling 33,650 were incurred during the taxable year. The first question is the player being a self-employed individual who signified intent in the first quarter to use 8% optional income tax rate. How much is the income tax for the taxable year? Because the economic activity is registered, the digital assets become ordinary assets used in the conduct of business. Both sale of tokens and NFT shall be combined to get the total gross sales. The player signified intention to use 8% optional income tax rate, therefore, the income tax liability is 0. In our next illustrative case, the taxpayer did not use the optional income tax rate. The default will be using the graduated income tax table. Notice that if the net income is below 250,000, the rate shall be 0%. Therefore, the income tax liability is 0 or none. But the taxpayer is liable for percentage tax, wherein because of the CREATE law, the rate has been lowered from 3% to 1%. Hence, if the player did not use the 8% optional income tax rate, the player is also liable for 2,020 pesos. In our last case, the player is a mixed income earner with taxable compensation income amounting to 450,000 pesos and signified intent in the first quarter to use 8% optional income tax rate. How much is the income tax for the taxable year? The compensation income shall only be run through the graduated income tax table. For the business income, the player has the choice to use 8% option and also the graduated tax rates. In this illustration, the salary for the year has an income tax due of 42,500, whereas the income tax from playing Axie shall be 16,160 pesos. Therefore, the total income tax due of the player is 58,660. It is very important for the player to signify intent to be taxed at 8% at the beginning of the year, because without signifying intent, the default would be the graduated tax table. Changing into 8% tax rate is not allowed within the taxable year. Lastly, the 250,000 allowed as a deduction in Section 24A is only for pure business income earners, because for mixed income earners, the 250,000 benefit was already used in computing the income tax due from the salary. I'll share a spreadsheet in the description below where you can download my illustrative cases to help you with your computation. So I've been a gamer for more than 2 decades now. I played Philippine Ragnarok online for around 7 years ever since it was still pay to play. These are some of the screenshots I was able to save for posterity. I also played League of Legends for 10 seasons till I finally decided last year to retire, but I still follow its esport. I'm actually a fan of Coach Koma. I am a professional accountant whose work is related to taxation. I'm also a gamer who would love to see innovation in the gaming industry. So I understand the fun of being part of an enthusiast community. So educating gamers, which are also taxpayers, is my way to helping out the gaming community. And that's it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And if you found this video very helpful, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because it helps me create more videos for you. This is Gerard. Have a great day.